Hey everybody, Dan here with Pain Free You. Today I wanted to talk about the power of our stories. So, get to that in a minute. It's actually crazy. Halloween, last day of October, almost 6 o'clock, and it's 76 degrees out. Sitting out here in a t-shirt, crazy. For those who like the weather reports, there you go. For those who don't, my apology. Fast forward. Leaves are falling. Alright, so stories. We all have stories. The stories we tell ourselves about our past, about our present, about who we are, about where we're going, what we're capable of, what we're not capable of. Stories are powerful, right? Because if you believe the negative stories, it's going to be really tough for you to make progress in any important area of your life, right? Food, diet, weight. If you believe the story that says, oh, I can't control what I eat, I'm always eating junk food, I don't have the willpower, and those are the stories you tell, that's the reality you're going to be living. And I have some of that, trust me. I could probably I could stand to lose a few pounds, maybe 15, 20, don't know. So we all have stories. I have stories surrounding exercise. Don't do it enough. I know that. That's my story, right? I have stories around procrastination. That's my story. I have a tough time getting to work on important project stuff. We all have stories. So how do stories relate to overcoming your chronic symptoms or pains? Well, the stories you tell really set the expectation for what's coming down the pike. And if your story is, when you wake up, oh no, yesterday was horrible, today's going to be horrible too, and that's your story, your brain's going to go, look out for danger, horrible things are going to happen, and you set the tone and the expectation for the day. And so the stories are really powerful because they set the expectations, and the brain creates what we expect. So we really want to start to evaluate what are the stories we tell ourselves and rewrite a story. So people go, I don't know how to write a better story. Start with this. Take out a pen and paper and write down the dominant thoughts and thereby your stories that you tell yourself all the time. What are the things you say out loud, inside, to others, comments online? What are the dominant stories that you're telling yourself? Then step back, maybe take a 10-minute break from it, and take a look at what you wrote down. And say, from an outsider's perspective, if somebody else were telling me those stories about me, would that lift me up, empower me, or depress me? Because sometimes our stories are pretty damn depressing and sad and full of despair and catastrophic futures of suffering for long term. Super, super important for us to recognize our stories and begin to change them, rewrite them. You know, there's a thought that you are the script writer for the movie of your life. Instead of writing a horrible, sad, depressing movie, why not write the one where you are the star of the movie and you are a hero? You're down on your luck, things are really tough, but you have it in you, and you start to believe that there's a better future for you, and you commit to it, and you focus on it, and you start to change your story and your belief that you're capable. Just watch me do it. And script write the story of your life with you as the victor and the winner and the warrior and the overcomer. Because I can assure you, if your story and your script for your future is full of despair and depression and sadness and suffering, it's going to be a lot harder for you to be that victor. Simply put, we get what we expect. And if you expect bad things, your brain's not going to see the potential or start to work on what it's what is necessary to get to this wonderful potential. And for those people who say, I don't see a life after chronic pain or symptoms, there is a life after chronic pain. And I can assure you, I've been chronic pain or chronic symptom free for over a decade, probably getting close to 14 years if I was keeping track. Life after chronic pain is fabulous. You know what it's like to wake up and just feel good in your body? I feel better at 59 years old than I did at 35. There is life after chronic pain, after chronic symptoms, after chronic illness. But you got to see it to achieve it. You got to start to tell yourself better stories in order for those stories to come true. It's not going to happen by accident. You have to take a proactive effort, a proactive stance, and say, that's where I'm going. Let me look at what I'm currently telling myself and what I believe about my future. I'm going to write those stories down. Take a little break from it and then go back and read it. Or maybe even have somebody that you care about read it and have them look at it and go, ooh, is that what you're telling yourself? Wow, no wonder you're sad, depressed, not feeling very confident about your future. And if you need some help on the fundamentals, understand what creates symptoms. The brain perceiving danger turns on the alarms. Do the assessments. Is this PDP.com? Do the pain test. Do the FIT assessment. If it says it's TMS, perceived danger, that's what it is. Make a decision to accept that. And then that way, the story which you can tell can be based on the foundational truth that I'm actually okay physically. I just have a brain that's hypervigilant, on high alert, always looking out for danger, and operating on the stories I've been telling myself. So really, folks, write a new story. And if you want, share the new story in the comments. I'd love to see the empowering new stories you're telling yourself. And make that your dominant story. Look, it's understandable that we get down on things. You know, if you've had symptoms for a long time, it's easy to fall into despair and, well, it hasn't fixed yet, so who am I to say it's going to change? Well, you know, I've had success stories. One lady, when I first started coaching, 7-8 years ago, she had a lifetime of chronic pain, labeled fibromyalgia. A lifetime. From her 20s, and she was 67 when I coached with her, and she got better. That's a lot of years. 40-something years. We've had 43 years worth of migraines overcome. We had Jane with 37 years of back pain, which she overcame. Don't believe that since I've had symptoms so long, I can't get better. Yes, you can. With clarity and consistent messages of safety and being unbothered consistently, you can get better too. So for the people who are struggling, ask yourself, what are the stories you're telling yourself? Write them down. And take a good, hard, brutal look at those stories and say, are those stories serving me? Or are they holding me down? And then rewrite them. And then rewrite them again. And then rewrite them again until you get a story that you can fall in love with and say, damn it, now that's worth the effort. But if you're trying to get better, but you don't believe it's possible, and your story is kind of like, I don't know, I'll see how it goes, that's not compelling enough to do the hard thing, which is to stay consistently motivated, optimistic, unbothered by symptoms. Don't you want a compelling story to pull you forward instead of a crappy story to hold you back? So I hope this makes sense. And your homework is to write out your crappy story and start to rewrite your empowering, I can do this story. Give it a day or two, read it, rewrite it, make it stronger. Another day or two, rewrite it, make it stronger. And then report back. Let me know how this is changing your mindset, changing your disposition, changing your belief, your optimism. Is it creating hope? I'd love to hear it. So, the power of your stories. You are the screenwriter for the movie, and you're the hero of the story. So what would you do today if you were the hero and you're picking yourself up after a whole bunch of crap? Write that story. Write it again. Write it again. And make that your dominant story. And read it daily. Twice a day. Whatever. Drive that into your skull. Because you can get better. But you got to start with a solid story that actually says, I'm going to get better. Just watch me. So, I'm going to wrap up here. Love you folks. And as always, we'll see you tomorrow. Take care.